So thank you so much. Thank you for coming after all this wonderful food, the drinks, the beers, and so on. So really appreciate that you are all here. We only have 25 minutes, so I'm gonna be quite fast. I'm happy to take some pictures, and sorry, not pictures, like you can take it, but I'm gonna say like happy to share the presentation later. So if you are taking pictures, I'm gonna send it over to MathFest and happy to circulate it. What we are going to be talking about is expect the unexpected. So all the questions that we get is like how Burger King does it, how you guys do it over and over and over. And for me, the key is like we expect the unexpected. So key question is like how many burgers usually we eat every year. There's a lot of Whoppers involved. Our life is all around Whoppers, and I don't know how many you tell, but if you go, this is our competition usually. This is the marketing funds that they have, and this is us. We are a tiny, tiny company compared to McDonald's, KFC, on the media budgets, on the marketing budgets overall. Generally speaking, we are like Nike, Adidas. Everybody thinks that we are up there, but it's not. We have to be challengers. We have to have that agility in everything that we do, because we don't have those marketing budgets. But for us, and I'm borrowing this from Silo, a really nice restaurant nearby, but for us, limitation breeds creativity. When you don't have the marketing funds, when you don't have 50 people in your team, you have to work with it. And I think that that is the beauty of Burger King. You would expect that we have around 50, 60 people in our marketing team. The UK marketing team, they're brilliant, I love them, but we are only 10 people. So how we do it is like we treat our agencies as our team, and we make sure that we are really on top of things to be reactive and to make sure that we make the most of our tiny budgets. So this is usually what happens, and apologies because the whole fonts and the presentation, it seems that the format didn't come through, but this is usually us as clients, as friends in the industry. We are like, I want to create a viral campaign. That's the normal thing that happens. But then the account director, and I guess that many of you are here, will say, like, of course, we'll do it. We'll do our best. And the creative team goes back and says, like, are you kidding me? It's impossible. This is never going to happen. There's no key of I'm going to have a viral campaign. I think that asking someone to give you a viral campaign is the worst brief ever. So I think that also we all want to feel like this. So I'm Spanish. Actually, we are not going to be in the final, but I hope that, the guys are going to make it tonight. And we all, as marketeers, as creatives, we want to have that feeling of like, we made it. We are crowned. So briefly, there's going to be 3 pieces of advice. There's no magic formula, but this is what we do every day, in and out, and I think that this can help you. So I'm going to talk about 3 key things. One is to be brave. We all make mistakes. We are humans. We are people. No matter what you do, there's going to be different people that are going to be like watching it. And when we are talking about mostly digital campaigns and social media, we're not talking about your local environment. It's not an out-of-home that you're putting there. What happens today is whenever something is out, it's becoming global immediately. So you have to be aware of that. And also, I think that you guys all know this guy, but you also know this guy, that it's kind of the same person. Playing it safe, it's not going to take you anywhere. If we do what we've always done, we're going to get to the same result. Whether you're a small brand or a big brand, no matter the budget that you have, if you've done what other people is doing, you are not going to cross the line. It's not going to cut through. I think that something that you really need to believe is like, who is your brand? Who are you? What is your identity? And then trying to push those boundaries to make it happen. So many times I've said to my teams, to my agencies, we sell burgers. We don't do rocket science. This is very simple. We sell Whoppers. And it's flame grilled. So how many times we got ideas related to the Olympics and the flame? So many of those. But those are not going to cut through. You really need to get where you know that nobody's going to be brave enough to play in that environment. And I know that you're going to ask me some questions later about Women's Day. It was a brave move. I guess that it's very easy to judge it now or after it. I will discuss, but if you are not brave, nobody will be listening to you. This is a campaign that we launched, and I'm going to play it. It's the ad. In 2019, one of my colleagues was here talking about it, but we launched a campaign that was like telling people not to come to our restaurants to order cheeseburgers, because we are the home of the Whopper. So if you are selling more cheeseburgers or bacon doubles than you are selling Whoppers, you have a problem. And if we say, okay, this is our Whopper, it was not going to have the impact that we wanted. So we launched this one.
Cheeseburger, please. Don't come back. Okay.
Whopper.
I think
Go on. Say it.
If you ask anyone in our industry, in hospitality, franchisees, that you're going to put an ad out there to say, don't come to my restaurant if you are not going to order a Whopper, when a cheeseburger was the best seller at that point, they would tell you, you're crazy. You are going to get customers not to come to our restaurants. Well, expect the unexpected. They were coming to our restaurants, and our Whopper sales increased big time that year. Another one is be brave, and in some cases, there are some topics that are out there, and I'm going to be talking about politics. Brexit happened, there was an election, and we know that there were a lot of Whoppers or lies being told. And we had that opportunity of saying, like, okay, let's be brave, let's enter the conversation. It's not an easy decision to make. You need to have all your stakeholders on board. Everybody has to be like aligned on the potential backlash here. But there's something that I will mention later. You have to be always on the right side of history. And that's the same thing that happened with Women's Day. Yes, it was clickbait. Yeah, clearly. But we knew that we had to spark a conversation. And after that tweet, there was a conversation in the UK about how very few women were in kitchens in our country. So that was something that we needed to be part of it. Looking back, will be the same sort of tweet. Maybe we could change it. I don't know right now. But what we have is to be brave. This is what happened with the Whopper in 2019 at the end with the national elections.
Whopper, a thing that is extremely large. Also, a gross or blatant lie. In 2016, the UK voted on whether to leave Europe. You might have heard about it. It's literally all we talk about. Especially this bus. People are still very mad about this bus.
It's a scandal because it's an absolute whopper.
So as the country prepared to go to the polls in 2019, and the campaign buses hit the road again, we wanted to remind everyone that when it comes to selling Whoppers to the public, there's still only one king. Ding ding. People seem to like it. Celebrities liked it. Political pundits liked it. Even vegetarians liked it. Weirdly. Pretty soon, Burger King was the #1 Twitter trending topic in the UK. But it didn't stop there. The bus was talked about in 75 countries across the world, including Botswana. Suddenly, everyone had Whoppers on the brain, probably because it was actually fun to talk about. While the rest of the news wasn't. We counted 107 pieces of coverage with a combined reach of over 500 million people. Considering there are only 66 million people in the United Kingdom, that is a lot. Thank you, Internet, and thank you, bus driver.
So I think that everybody thinks you can do this because you are a big brand, you have big budgets. Well, this activation was £3,000. It's what it costs to print that banner and to rent the bus for the day. So every single company with a minimum budget can cut through if they are brave enough, not only the big companies with the big budgets. The second tip that I want to give you is to be relevant. Like, it doesn't matter that hopefully in 5 years' time, we are talking about COVID. You really need to talk about what is happening at the moment. We are part of popular culture. It happens day in and day out, and you have to be very fast and react when it needs. So this is something that I guess that you have seen. It was in 2020, November. Burger King France posted this Instagram post saying like order from McDonald's, and they were talking about their local ones. At this moment in the UK, we were open. So we didn't take it because like it's not relevant for us. However, 4 days later, we closed again. Like Boris said, we need to close hospitality. It's only gonna be takeaway and delivery. And then we went out there with that very simple Instagram post, and we supported the hospitality industry, and also we were bold enough to say, you know, don't only come to us, go to the other brands, but also to all the thousands of independent restaurants that are there. This became viral, not from the French Post, because they did it a bit after, but, you know, then follow like Sweden, Germany, Italy, and then other brands jumped into it. In the UK, lots of hospitality business. I love the one from Durex, that they thought that masturbation was the competition, so they are telling Italians to touch themselves. Apologies for this, but it happened. But you had also all the travel industry, everybody jumped on a trend. That was because it was a relevant topic. So when France launched it, it was not relevant at that moment because they had been closed for several months. Because we did it just after Boris announced that we were closing again. That's why we became viral. So there's not, like, an idea can happen one day and then not be relevant, and then 2 weeks later, it would be relevant in another market. Again, this is free of cost. It's just the idea, and nothing. There was not supportive, any media spent behind this, and you have to put your money where your mouth is. So if we were saying we are going to be supporting independence, yes, we thought it was going to be for a month. Let's not lie. We said, like, let's give our Instagram channel to all the independents, and most likely we are going to be open again after Christmas. Well, we didn't open again until April, and our whole Instagram feed was for those channels. So whatever you do, you have to be consistent and honest. Not saying, I'm going to do this, but then, oh my God, it's too much, and you're going to be moving away. You have to be, like, keeping the trend. This, I think you've seen it. I'm not going to play the video. It's there. I will circulate it. But a couple of years ago, there was a lot of plastic conversation in the UK. We, as hospitality, we give toys, or we used to give plastic toys to kids, and there was a petition in the UK to remove plastic toys. We had been working on that topic for years, but we advanced it, and we actually were the first brand that removed plastic toys. But we did it in a fun and bold way. We say, like, bring your toys, we'll recycle, we'll create parks with it. However, what is quite interesting is, like, and this is going to be the video that I'm going to skip, but McDonald's this year in Japan, I think it was a couple of months ago, they launched the same campaign. And if you look, the visual, it's almost the same. So when you are doing something that is relevant, it will be taken by our companies, but you cannot be afraid of that. You have to be proud of saying, like, you are creating a trend. You are on the forefront. The third tip that I have is to be yourself. You cannot be me too. Like, we are not McDonald's. McDonald's, they are great. If you guys are in the room, like, I think that the job that you guys are doing in the UK, it's amazing, and in our countries. But they have one brand identity, we have our personality. If we are the challenging ones, we also say that we want to, like, have fun and so on. You have to be yourself. You cannot try to be any other person or brand. So this example, it's coming from 2018. Kanye West posted, McDonald's is my favorite restaurant. And cooler that it's our digital agency spotted, and I think that Parker there was brilliant, and the whole team, they were like, there has to be something that we can do about it. And we had so many ideas about Trump reactive and so on, but it was like, this is not relevant for our country. Like, Trump can be saying a lot of things, but that is for the US team, not for us. In this case, Kanye is a global personality, so we said, okay, we need to jump on it. And there were like a lot of discussions, and they were like all via WhatsApp, but like, okay, let's keep it simple. Let's not attack him. Let's not jump on attack McDonald's. Let's just do a bit simple thing. And we said 3 words, explains a lot. That was on a Sunday morning. By midday, we were like, there's 10,000 likes. We thought that was our best tweet. At night, we had hit 1 million. And it became a viral campaign where we hadn't planned, there was no brief. It's just staying alert to know what is happening around you and then jump when needed. This is another campaign that is getting a lot of talkability these days. I know that it got a lot of awards. From a creative point of view, I think that it's brilliant. It's like how to have one of the big games. I'm gonna play the case because I don't know if you've all seen it.
Confused? Let me take you back a few steps. You haven't heard of Stevenage Football Club, right? Well, neither did we. But we realized that even though they were at the bottom of England's 4th division, they were going to appear in the same video game that all the expensive players were going to be in. And that's when almost 2 years ago, we decided to sponsor Stevenage. Because if we put our logo on their real shirt, FIFA 20 would have no other choice but to put us in their game. Introducing the Stevenage Challenge. We invited gamers across the world to choose Stevenage in any game mode, sign the best players for the team, and play with them. For every goal that they shared with a football star on Twitter, we gave them rewards. The news took the gaming community by storm.
The best kids in the game, the Stevenage, they have Burger King as their sponsor.
Oh, Lawrence. Oh my God, football food. What could possibly be better?
Il est trop beau, les gars, vite!
Just like that, our small team in real life turned into the biggest team online. And the best players in the world were playing for Burger King without being paid a single penny.
It's not every night this comes along.
BK Sports. It's in the flame.
So I think what you would expect from this campaign is that the UK would be the leading market here. Well, expect the unexpected. France, Spain, Brazil, all those people that you saw in that case, internationally, it was a massive success in September 2019 when we launched it. But in the UK, we didn't get that coverage. We didn't get our customers to engage with the campaign as we were expecting. So what is going on here? However, 1 year later, during COVID, someone picked it up, posted a tweet saying this campaign is great, and then it got all the coverage, and then customers and fans engaged with us 1 year later. So I think that there's a big learning here. It's you have to plan for the worst case scenario. And the worst case scenario for us here was that, it was brand building, great globally, but we're we are not getting gamers to play with us in the UK, being a British team. And then 1 year later, it became a viral thing, and everybody thought that the campaign was live 1 year later, and our community managers were getting can I get part of the challenge? Where are the Whoppers? They were that happened 1 year ago. So I think that keep that in mind when you put something on digital. However, because we saw what was the success of Stevenage in other countries, we decided to do something that was relevant in the UK. And the women's team of Stevenage was about to disappear. So we decided to launch this, and this really had a big impact in the UK, and it didn't have it globally, that our global team thought that it was going to be another global campaign.
I'll tell you why you won't win the league.
again, expect the unexpected. It got a lot of coverage and talkability in the UK versus the global that it didn't get anything. And for us, it was the right thing to do to support a team that was about to disappear in the same terms as men. So my time is coming up. I just wanted to give you a bit of a bonus and a couple of 3 more pieces of advice. For me, it would be don't be afraid. Of course, you have to control your risk. Of course, you have to plan for scenario A, B, C, D, E, whatever. The worst thing that can happen can happen. And when you put something online, let's not forget, there's a lot of haters, there's a lot of trolls that will hate. And once that happens, the trend can change. So for example, going back to International Women's Day, it had a really good reaction in the UK during the morning. In the moment that the US woke up, there was like a lot of hate online, and then the conversation completely shifted to a very negative one because of the influence. So you cannot be afraid. You just need to do what you think is the right thing from your point of view and for your brand. Also, let's not try to be too smart. As I said before, in my case, we sell burgers. Most likely, you sell a lot of different products, but it's not rocket science, or we are not, doctors saving lives. So don't take life too seriously, and also don't try to think that we are the center of the world, that everybody will be thinking about us at all points. It's like when you get an idea from an agency, a team member, whoever it is, a friend that says, hey, I think that you could do something with this, think if people will talk about it. People that are not marketeers. Like sometimes we live in our marketing world, and then think about it like, when you are in a pub with your mate, they will tell you, hey, I saw this and this is great. Because that's the reality. Those are your customers. And the third one is like, if you will be proud when time passes by. So at some point in the middle of the storm, you're like, oh my God, this is great. This is a great idea. I'm so excited. We are launching it. Or the opposite. Oh my God, what happened? Whenever you have an idea that it's controversial, political, whatever, like talking about the Brexit one, women's, whatever you do, think, is this the right one? Whenever I look back in 5 years, in 1 year, in 3 months, will I be embarrassed? Will I be still proud about it? And I think that's the key. And let's not forget that you have to be yourself. So that's everything that I had for today. Thank you so much for listening.
What an inspirational presentation. Thank you. So, Soco, I've got a question here from Matt. I wonder if the guys in AV could get that up on the screen for me. I'm going to read it out. People talk about taking risks. Burger King is synonymous with risk-taking, but senior teams are often risk-averse. How can I persuade leaders that taking risks makes sense?
I think you have to go step by step. You cannot go to the big thing. So you cannot say like, I don't know, let's go back to Brexit one, because I think that's a controversial one. I wouldn't start with a big risk. I would go step by step so they start feeling comfortable and they feel, okay, if we do this small step, nothing happened, then you can go to, it's kind of a ladder. And then also making sure that you have all the answers ready. So think about what are they gonna bring to the table. When you have one idea and you say, hey, leadership team, or senior people, I want to present this idea, what they will ask you. Have all your answers ready. Try to run it through your teams before. What we try to do is not only run it through marketing team, but in our case, for example, operations, supply, finance, people that are not marketeers, to get the questions, to get it from their point of view before we take it to leadership team. And of course, there are sometimes that are fast decisions, and that's picking up the phone and say hey, you have to trust me on this one.
That is fantastically actionable insight. I love the idea of boiling the frog, starting simple, and then turning up the temperature until we get to Brexit levels of campaign. Thank you so much, Soco, for a great presentation. Please give it up for Soco from Burger King.